Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moment. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Renegade Immortal episode number 564 based on novel. So let's start. Only I, Du Qing, can steal other people's things and destroy other sects' caves, the youth said slowly. It was impossible to tell if he was angry or happy, but a strange distortion appeared over his body. He seemed to change into a person made of wood. No one has ever dared to destroy my sect. The young man let out a heaven-shattering roar. As he roared, the world rumbled, large amounts of clouds were torn apart, and large amounts of black smoke scattered. No one has ever dared to do this. Destroy my sect, kill my sect's disciples. No matter who you are dead. If you're in the heavenly bull continent, you're dead. I'm going to capture you, I'm going to split you into pieces, I'm going to make you suffer for thousands of years, I'm going to make you regret cultivating, the young man roared, and a terrifying aura erupted from his body. The nearest 1,000 disciples didn't even have time to scream before they all died. I'm going to kill you. The young man turned around and reached toward a disciple. The disciple was filled with fear as the young man grabbed his head. His powerful divine sense rushed into the disciple's mind and soul, searched by force. He didn't care that this was a disciple of his sect at all. The disciple let out a miserable scream and died. His body exploded into a mist of blood. After he obtained the memory he wanted, Wang Lin's appearance appeared clearly in the youth's eyes. One of the elders who had turned into a dragon trembled and said, Old ancestor. That person is named Wang. He said he didn't kill anyone, old ancestor. He only destroyed the sect because someone tried to refine him into a puppet. Just as he spoke, the heart of the middle-aged man who had lost his arm skipped a beat and let out a sigh. This Sunmender hasn't been in the Blue Dragon sect long enough, so he still doesn't understand the old ancestor's personality. The old ancestor doesn't care about the fate of the Blue Dragon sect, he cares only about face. Just as the old man spoke, the youth turned around and stared at the old man named Sun with a ferocious gaze. The thousands of disciples that just died were killed by him. And you, an elder, even if you lost your body, you should have exploded your origin soul to stop him. You didn't do your job, so I'm going to refine you into wood and seal you for 100 years as punishment. The youth reached toward the void. The old man named Sun trembled and was about to retreat, but he was caught by the young man without the ability to resist at all. The youth used some unknown spell, then grey light filled the old man's body and invaded his origin soul. The old man let out a miserable scream and his origin soul turned into wood. The youth loosened his hand and the old man who was turned into wood fell on the ground. A vortex appeared and the wooden old man disappeared. This terrified all the disciples of the Blue Dragon sect, and none of them dared to speak. Launch the power of the full sect to find this person for me. I'll only give you all 3 months of time. If you can't find this person in 3 months, then all of you will die. Send out a notice to the entire Heavenly Bull continent. Anyone who dares to protect this person will pay the price. Wang Lin was quickly moving through the sky of the immortal astral continent. His divine sense spread out as he slowly adapted to this foreign world. With my cultivation level, I can cover most of the cave world with my divine sense, but here, my divine sense seems to be suppressed by an invisible law. It is only half the size of what it was in the cave world. This is obviously not unique to me, everyone's the same. Wang Lin made this judgment because no divine sense from the Blue Dragon sect had spread out to lock onto him during this time. Spatial bending also lost its effect on the immortal astral continent. Wang Lin frowned and tried many times, but was not able to merge with the world. This should not be unique to me. Even though the old ancestor of the Blue Dragon sect is at the early stage of void turbulent like Seven-Colored and Old Ghost John, he wasn't able to rush back in time. It is clear he can't use spatial bending. While Wang Lin pondered, he moved very fast across the sky. He vaguely understood that although the world here and the cave world looked the same, they were completely different. The cave world was false and this place was real. He could merge with the world of the cave world, but he couldn't merge with the world of the immortal astral continent. As a result, he couldn't use spatial bending. There should be a method to do it, but the cultivation level required should be higher. Wang Lin silently pondered. He had just arrived here, so everything here was foreign to him. Fortunately, he had searched Kang Ren's memories. Although he still didn't know much, he knew a lot about the Heavenly Bull continent. This is the Heavenly Bull continent in the Eastern continent under the rule of the Celestials. The Guiyi sect and the Great Soul sect are the two strongest sects in the Heavenly Bull continent. They are part of the 9 sects and 13 factions. Wang Lin felt complicated. He was no stranger to these two sects. The Great Soul sect, Fan Shan Meng and Fan Shan Lu sect. The sect that has terrifying illusions. There is also Yunifeng from Kang Ren's memory. He has become the genius of the Guiyi sect. Alas, I have arrived late. Teacher probably thought I had died, so he didn't wait. Wang Lin let out a sigh. However, what made him feel emotional was that the Heavenly Bull continent was where the 7 Dao sect was located. The Heavenly Bull continent is simply too big, the size of several dozen cave worlds. Traveling without spatial bending is too slow. Going from here to the ancient country's 36 states would take hundreds of years, even at full speed. Wang Lin frowned. The immortal astral continent was simply too big. Forget it. No matter what, I must head to the 7 Dao sect to take a look. If teacher is not there, then no matter how long it takes, I must head to the ancient Dao clan since I promised him. This is the long-term goal. Before that, I must head to the Dawn Lin sect. I must use all methods to get into the Dawn Lin pool. When Wang Lin thought about the mysteries of the Dawn Lin pool, his heart pounded. However, before that, I still need to resolve the issue with the storage space. I wonder how the madman and the woman in silver are. Wang Lin knew that these two had bloodlines of the immortal astral continent, so even if the storage space shattered, they would be fine. While pondering, he moved through the sky as a ray of light. This kind of flying that only used his cultivation was something even Wang Lin found unbearable after a long time. The Mosquito King was too unique and therefore was not good to summon here. Half a month later, a large mountain range appeared before Wang Lin. There were many mountains connected, and it went as far as the eye could see. From just a glance, there must have been over 10,000 mountains. The Heavenly Bull continent was filled with mountains. Wang Lin had learned this from Kang Ren's memories, and he had personally seen it over the last half-month. This place is pretty good. Wang Lin's eyes lit up and he charged into the mountain range below. He rushed toward an ordinary-looking mountain and entered it. Wang Lin waved his hand and the inside of the mountain disappeared, forming a giant, stone cave. It became a temporary cave for Wang Lin. He sat down inside the mountain and his hands formed seals. Countless restrictions appeared and landed on the mountain. He couldn't take out any treasures, so he could only use restrictions to hide his aura. After sealing the mountain and setting up some defenses, Wang Lin didn't put the heaven avoidance coffin down but still carried it on his back. The immortal astral continent was not like the cave world. There were many powerful cultivators here, and he had to be careful to prevent accidents. Only when he carried it on his back would he feel secure. That Kang Ren also has a storage space, but it is different from those of the cave world. He opened the storage space inside his own body. As a result, there are no restrictions and he could take items out at any time. This kind of method is very mysterious, but it's not something I have never seen before. The Celestials back in the cave world did this. The people from the 7 Dao sect all used the same method. I should have prepared back then. Wang Lin shook his head. Although he was cunning, he was still unable to cover everything. Wang Lin sat there and raised his right hand. He began to hesitate. He couldn't guess what the consequences of opening the storage space were. My storage space was opened in the cave world. I could have opened it in the void, but there would have been some interference. After all, the void is still connected to the cave world. But now that I'm on the immortal astral continent, what to do? Wang Lin felt a headache. He looked at his right hand and waved. He saw a rift appear before him, but the moment it appeared, it collapsed into specks of light before he could take anything out. Wang Lin's expression was calm, but his eyes shined as he speculated. The storage space he had just opened was one he had created to store random junk. Even if it dissipated, he wouldn't lose anything of value. He had used it as an experiment to confirm his speculation. Not all items will collapse. Some will be damaged, but they will disperse into the unknown. Wang Lin pondered. The blood sword must be taken out. And the golden print that was turned solid by teacher. It contains the power of an early-stage arcane void cultivator and is very useful to me. Also the soul lasher. It specializes in dealing with the origin soul. It would be a pity for it to disappear inside the storage space. In addition, there is the Yi-Sai puppet that is as strong as a void turbulent cultivator. And also the ghostly sail. Wang Lin rubbed his temples and felt a headache. While he was hesitating, the news of someone named Wang triggering the Earth Fire, burning the Blue Dragon sect, killing thousands of Blue Dragon sect disciples, and defeating 4 elders while destroying the bodies of 3 and the arms of another spread. The Blue Dragon sect was angry. They sent all disciples out on a crazed search. Many sects laughed at this matter as they were not happy with the Blue Dragon sect. However, due to Du Qing's cultivation level and his connection with the Great Soul sect, they backed down. Seeing that the Blue Dragon sect had suffered such great loss, including thousands of disciples dying and the 4 elders seriously injured, made them all secretly happy. As for cooperating with the search for the mysterious person, it was all just on the surface. However, there were some sects that fully cooperated to search for Wang Lin. The Heavenly Bull continent was simply too big. Even such sensational news didn't spread too far, it only spread within a region. As for large sects like the Gui Yi sect or the Great Soul sect, they rarely paid attention to such things. Several days passed, but there were no clues at all. The Blue Dragon sect's old ancestor, Du Qing's, anger intensified. He went out himself and his divine sense swept the area, but he also found nothing. After all, the Heavenly Bull continent was simply too large. If a person wanted to hide, finding them would be as difficult as finding a needle in the ocean. The mountain Wang Lin was in was swept by the divine sense of Blue Dragon sect disciples. However, due to them being far away and Wang Lin's restrictions being extraordinary, they didn't find any clues. Unless Du Qing came personally, no one else would find an abnormalities. However, although he was angry, without a specific location to search, it was not likely he would come to check personally. As time passed, the Blue Dragon sect search didn't decrease but became even more intense. Wang Lin noticed this while he was pondering about how to open his storage space to take out his treasures. During this month of time, not only was Wang Lin thinking about his storage space, he was also absorbing the celestial energy here to nourish his body. He was also looking at the difference of the essences here compared to his own essences. He slowly saw through some clues. The ethereal essences were no problem, whether it was in the cave world or on the immortal astral continent, there was no change. After all, the ethereal essences were formed from Wang Lin's own comprehension. However, the corporeal essences had changed, like the fire essence. The thunder, fire, and water essence that had reached small completion were all the same. As for the slaughter and restriction essences, there were some changes but not much. It's almost time, I can't hesitate anymore. On this day, while Wang Lin was sitting inside the cave, he opened his eyes. His gaze was decisive. He was not an indecisive person. If it wasn't for the fact that the storage space was too important, he wouldn't have been so hesitant. However, he had to make a decision now. Even if it is destroyed, I must take out some items. Most of these don't matter since I can accumulate so much, I can obtain new treasures on the immortal astral continent. And if I'm fast, the storage space might not collapse completely. After making up his mind, Wang Lin no longer hesitated. His full cultivation spread out and gathered inside the cave without leaking out. As his cultivation continued to condense in the cave, the surrounding area began to distort. This distortion was like a ripple that slowly echoed inside the cave like everything here had become solid. This wasn't a complete solidification, but it could make everything here move slower. He spread out his full cultivation to make it feel like the cave was a swamp so that the collapse of the storage space would be delayed. And what Wang Lin needed was time. Once his aura finished spreading out and the surroundings slowed down, Wang Lin took a deep breath. His eyes lit up and he raised his left hand. He formed a seal and the stop spell gathered on his index finger. Then he raised his right hand and reached at the void before him after clenching his teeth. He had done this many times before, but never had he been this nervous doing it. As his hand reached out, a rift appeared before him. This rift was Wang Lin's storage space. The moment the rift appeared, the stop spell Wang Lin had gathered on his left hand pointed forward. After using the stop spell many times, it had long evolved with his understanding. Now it not only stopped people, but even time, space, spells, and treasures. However, Wang Lin didn't know if he could stop the collapse of the storage space he had brought from the cave world to the immortal astral continent. The moment the rift appeared, a ghostly light came out from within, and signs of collapsing appeared. However, the solidification of the cave that caused time to slow down and the stop spell caused the collapse to pause for a moment. But it only paused for a moment before a violent collapse occurred. Wang Lin's focus was very high. Just as the storage space opened, his divine sense went in like crazy and was about to take everything out. However, that pause was not enough time for Wang Lin to take everything. He watched as countless rifts appeared in his storage space. The madman and woman in silver were very close to a rift and disappeared within. Some treasures collapsed, and while some didn't collapse, they were devoured by the rifts. All of this happened in a flash, and Wang Lin didn't have time to stop it. He didn't even have time to see what he had taken out before his divine sense split into several copies. They followed the treasures through the rifts and imprinted on the treasures that disappeared. With a thought, the storage space that hadn't collapsed was closed by him and disappeared to prevent it from collapsing anymore. After a short period of time, Wang Lin was soaked in sweat. His breathing was short and his eyes were red as he looked ahead and pondered. Before him floated a blood sword and a golden print. The blood sword was filled with killing intent, and the golden print gave off the aura of void turbulent. There was also a trace of Grand Empyrean aura, showing that this was formed by one of the 9 suns. Some not very important treasures have collapsed, but it doesn't matter that they broke. However, there were still 3 treasures that didn't collapse and were taken by the rifts. I was prepared and left my divine sense on them, so perhaps there will be a day when I can find them. Madman and that woman in silver. Alas! Wang Lin let out a sigh. He had tried his best. I should be able to open my storage space a few more times, but each time I open it, the collapse will get worse until it is destroyed completely. The Yisai puppet is still there and wasn't swept away. Wang Lin took a deep breath and scattered the solidification aura around him, allowing the cave to slowly return to normal. Looking at the blood sword and golden print before him, Wang Lin's eyes lit up. He raised his right hand and used the method for creating a storage space inside his body that he had learned from Kang Ren. A rift appeared on his right wrist. The inside of the rift was completely dark and a suction force came from within. It sucked in the blood sword and the golden print before it disappeared from Wang Lin's wrist. Opening a storage space with one's bloodline. This kind of thing is something only the people of the immortal astral continent can do perfectly. Wang Lin pondered, and there was a flash of bloodlight from his right hand as the blood sword flew out and then disappeared. Golden light appeared as the golden print appeared in Wang Lin's right hand. This happened several times until Wang Lin became familiar with the process. He had to make sure he wouldn't accidentally open his storage space during a battle and cause irreversible damage. Only then did he feel assured. So what if I lost some treasures? I can obtain more treasures on the immortal astral continent. Wang Lin looked outside, and his gaze seemed to be able to penetrate the mountain to see the darkened sky outside. Greed should also be on the immortal astral continent. As long as he is here, I'll not be short of treasures. I just need to meet him to solve a lot of problems. Greed, I'm looking forward to our first reunion on the immortal astral continent. Wang Lin revealed a faint smile. However, that greed is very strange. He is also one of the soul fragments of the 7-colored celestial sovereign like Qing Shui, but he was able to leave the cave world. Even though he had that Grand Empyrean's help, Qian Luo helped as well. This matter is inexplicable. This question had been in Wang Lin's mind for a long time, but he couldn't guess an answer. Forget it, once I meet greed in the future, I may know more. Thinking about it more would be pointless. First, I must resolve the problem of this earth fire and my fire essence. The blue dragon Sex Du Ching is not weak. If he comes to find me, it will be a vicious battle. I've just entered the immortal astral continent and don't want to cause too much trouble, but now it seems like I have to be a bit more high-profile so I can have a solid footing. There was coldness in Wang Lin's eyes. In the imperial capital of the Celestials, there was a very luxurious palace. This palace was hundreds of feet tall. It was like a heavenly palace. The golden light from the palace was dazzling. Even from very far away, one could see the blinding light. In the great hall, there was a huge dragon chair, and a middle-aged man wearing a 9-dragon imperial robe was sitting on it. This man had his eyes closed as if he was in a false dream, but at this moment, he opened his eyes. His pupils were like suns and the aura of his noble blood spread out. An unimaginable pressure spread out from his body. The imperial teacher has divined that Dao Fei's disappearance won't be life-threatening and it will be a fortune. Now his aura has appeared in the god's burial, so let's bring him back. There is a woman next to him. The eyes of the middle-aged man in the imperial robe flashed and his right hand reached toward the void before him. The middle-aged man in the imperial robe reached out and a vortex appeared in the hall. A ghostly light came out. It seemed to lead to the unknown. A howling sound echoed inside the vortex and 2 fuzzy shadows appeared before being pulled out by the man in the imperial robe. The unconscious man and woman were the madman and the woman in silver. The middle-aged man ignored the woman in silver and focused his gaze on the madman. He frowned and walked forward. As he walked forward, the madman's body strangely floated into the air, and the middle-aged man pressed his right hand against the madman's chest. A powerful celestial energy rushed into the madman's body. In an instant, popping sounds echoed inside the madman's body as if thunder was echoing inside the hall. The powerful celestial energy was like a river rushing through the madman's body. It opened up the closed meridians and triggered the madman's bloodline power. However, the madman was still unconscious and didn't wake up. The middle-aged man frowned and waved his sleeve. The shadow of a giant sun appeared behind him, and this shadow quickly enveloped the entire palace and then spread far into the world. Even from far away, one could see a golden sun shrouding the palace. Dao Fei, wake up! The middle-aged man waved his right hand and pressed it on the madman's chest. Golden celestial energy rushed into the madman's body and rushed toward his head. It immediately opened up some closed blood veins and vessels. After they were opened, foul aura that had gathered for countless years was scattered. Big brother, at this moment, the madman's face turned red and he opened his eyes. He let out a cry of surprise as he coughed out a mouthful of blood and passed out again. The middle-aged man's eyebrows slowly loosened and the shadow of the sun slowly disappeared behind him. Send Prince Dao Fei to rest. This woman, send her as well. As the majestic voice echoed, 2 strands of golden smoke appeared in the hall. They turned into 2 women, and after bowing at the man in the imperial robe, they carried the unconscious madman and the woman in silver out of the hall. The man in the imperial robe sat in the dragon chair and slowly closed his eyes as he pondered. Dao Fei has been missing for many years. I don't know what happened, and he was injured so badly. His bloodline also weakened a little. When he wakes up, I need to get information from him. Wang Lin was currently inside the cave he had created inside a mountain. His hands formed a seal and a sea of fire surrounded his body. The sea of fire burned intensely and slowly turned into a giant vermilion bird behind him. The vermilion bird circled Wang Lin, causing the sea of fire to burn even more intensely. The heaven-avoiding coffin he had carried the whole time had been put into the new storage space he had opened in his body. At this moment, his hand formed a seal and the fire around him turned into 7 fire dragons that rushed into his left eye. They were absorbed by his left eye in an instant and formed a fire-shaped imprint in his left eye. The imprint flashed and was very eye-catching in the cave that no longer had the light from the fire. My own fire essence has already formed and is even a bit stronger than when I was in the cave world. But it is incompatible with the earth fire of this heavenly bull continent. A master must be decided between the 2 fires. Otherwise, if I encounter another person with a fire essence, they will be able to tell that something is wrong at a glance. Also, the earth fire here is too different, which puts me at a disadvantage. Wang Lin had already been at the immortal astral continent for a month, and he felt the differences. In the cave world, all the fire in the world could be controlled by him. He was like the Emperor of Fire and never had to worry about the consumption of his fire essence. As long as he breathed, he could quickly replenish it. However, it was different on the immortal astral continent. Not only was he an outsider, even his fire essence was an outsider. It would be very difficult for him to replenish his power of fire. This situation was not a problem if he met someone who was weaker, but against someone who was strong, it would be fatal. In the Blue Dragon sect, while it looked simple for Wang Lin to extract the soul of the earth fire, it was not simple. He didn't really need to extract that soul to lead the Blue Dragon sect, but he wanted to check the rejection of the fire here, so he had extracted the soul. The rejection force was very strong. Under Wang Lin's forceful manipulation, the fire dragon tried to rebel after he left the Blue Dragon sect. In the end, under Wang Lin's suppression, the fire dragon disappeared into the earth. The rejection from the fire here is very strong. Since the fire of the immortal astral continent doesn't recognize me, then I don't need it to recognize me. I'll suppress it and absorb it to strengthen myself. Wang Lin's eyes revealed a cold gaze. With a cold snort, he closed his eyes. Wang Lin's origin soul rushed into his left eye and turned into a vermilion bird that rushed out. The vermilion bird was formed by Wang Lin's origin soul. It filled the cave with a high temperature before it disappeared underground. The entire Heavenly Bull continent had a large earth fire vein spreading across the continent under all the mountains. Just as Wang Lin's origin soul went underground, he felt suffocating heat coming from below. This aura was very harmful to the origin soul, but it caused no problem for Wang Lin. As he charged toward the bottom, a heat wave was released from his body to resist the earth fire. Because his origin soul was underground, everything he saw was different from when he was in his physical body. There was no earth here, only sparks of fire. It looked like a world of fire. As he went into the depths of the earth, a roar came from the distance. This roar could not be heard by one's ears, but the origin soul would feel it clearly. When the roar came, an even more intense heat wave blasted toward Wang Lin. The temperature inside the heat wave could melt all treasures and burn the souls of all living beings. There was a flash of coldness in Wang Lin's eyes. This roar was more of a challenge, the collision of two different types of fire once they met. As the roar echoed, the vermilion bird formed by Wang Lin let out a sharp howl. This howl was the vermilion bird cry. The cry became a sharp sword that pierced into the ground toward the source of the roar. Wang Lin moved very fast as he charged deep underground. He crossed boundless distances every few breaths and soon arrived at the source of the roar. It was a fire dragon that was hundreds of feet long, giving off a red glow, and was surrounded by a violent aura. This fire dragon was coiled there and staring at Wang Lin's vermilion bird. When Wang Lin got close, it let out another roar. This scene was very shocking. In this underground world, the dragon and vermilion bird faced off. The roar and cry collided and a battle of fire began between them. If one's divine sense swept by, they would see this, but if they were here, they would see something completely different with their naked eyes. They would only see a giant fire vein that expanded for an unknown distance. This vein was red and gave off endless heat while being buried under the earth. This huge fire vein was the fire dragon that was roaring at Wang Lin. This fire dragon was the soul of this branch of the fire vein. Similarly, if one looked at Wang Lin's vermilion bird with their naked eyes, they wouldn't see a vermilion bird. They would only see a fire that came from another place, a fire that could not mix with the fire here. In this world, there was only one word that was called fire. Flames could sometimes represent fire, but they would never replace fire as a word. Fire was overbearing. It couldn't coexist, it could only fuse into one. The fire dragon roared and charged forward. Dense fire surrounded its body and charged at Wang Lin's vermilion bird. It opened its mouth to devour the vermilion bird. The eyes of Wang Lin's vermilion bird shined and didn't flinch at all. The mere soul of a branch of the fire vein wasn't qualified to make Wang Lin retreat. The vermilion bird let out a hiss as it charged into the mouth of the fire dragon. All fire in this world must listen to my command and worship me as its master. Even the fire of the immortal astral continent must obey. Wang Lin's divine sense echoed underground with the overbearing nature of fire. The fire dragon devoured the vermilion bird and revealed a painful expression. Its body became twisted and fire burst out from its body. The vermilion bird slowly appeared within the fire dragon. It became very large until it shrouded the fire dragon and soon became clear. When it became clear, it continued to absorb the fire coming from the fire dragon. As it strengthened itself, the fire dragon's roar became weaker. However, as the fire dragon was being absorbed, it began to struggle even more violently. Thunderous rumbles echoed above ground, where Wang Lin was. The earth trembled and split open as fire spewed out from underground, burning everything. This process didn't last too long. After one incense stick of time, the fire that was spewing out from underground immediately shrank and dissipated within the cracks back into the depths of the ground. The dragon had stopped struggling and the vermilion bird had finally become fully clear. It opened its eyes and revealed a cold gaze. After absorbing the soul of a branch of the fire vein, my fire essence has strengthened so much. The vermilion bird turned into a sea of fire and charged to the surface. It went back into Wang Lin's left eye. Wang Lin's body trembled when his origin soul returned, and he opened his eyes. This was a rare and large supplement for me. Wang Lin looked at the ground, and his eyes revealed a strange light. This video will end here.